In today's podcast, I want to talk about the law of attraction and what is needed for you to do or to give in order to receive the goods that you want. Now, I just call it the law of energy exchange. And to me, that's no different than the law of attraction. Now, I don't know if that term has been coined before, but I just call it the law of energy exchange. And I might call it something else later on. Yesterday I spoke about the reverse engineering of the law of attraction, where you need to not attract or focus on what you need to attract into your lives, but rather what you need to unattract, what you currently are experiencing in your life. So the law of energy exchange is basically what you need to give to the world, to other people, for the things that you want, for the relationships that you do want. Because I think people don't focus on that enough. They don't understand that everything is an exchange of energy. So if you want to have the $500,000 car, that car was built by somebody. Their skill set went into that, their money, their time, their efforts, the whole structure of the dealership to attain that car, bring it over, ship it over to their dealership, having the internal structure that's needed to make the sale, do the paperwork, all of those things. That's energy that's been put into that car. And that's why it might cost you $500,000 in order to get that car. And people don't always see that. They don't always feel that they need to give something in exchange for the things that they want. Now, we run a business as a psychology-based business where we offer psychotherapy to our clients. And we get that quite often where people will write negative reviews on our company, saying that with us, Psych Central, which is the company's name, is all about money and it's all about just business, and we don't care about the person. Because they would also say that they would say something like, I am already dealing with anxiety. Now you're charging such a premium fee, which causes me more anxiety. So you're all about money and all about business, and you should be caring about my mental health instead. And a lot of people will say that this is too expensive, like you need to give this to us for free. A lot of people would say that. And now I'm not a mental health practitioner, obviously, but I do think from my perspective that is one, and it might be a small part, but that is one of the parts that contributes to why this person needs psychotherapy in the first place, why they are experiencing life in a difficult way. Because they have the sense of entitlement where they don't believe that they need to step up and bring something to the table, even if it is for themselves. And you don't need to give unconditionally. You can give conditionally, right? But you need to still give. So everything in life, from my perspective, is an equal exchange of energy. So you can't walk into a grocery store and say, because I'm hungry, I deserve food. I deserve for you to just give me food for free. Because you haven't exchanged any money that you've put energy into to generate that money. Because the person that is delivering that bag of chips or the steak or whatever it is to you has put a lot of energy into it. It's the same with water. I hear a lot of people, maybe not in your part of the world, I don't know, but I've heard it many times in my own country, where people would say, but water is free. Water is a gift from God, so why do we have to pay for it? not realizing that water is free and you can get it for free if you walk down to the river, scoop it up yourself, carry it back to your house, boil it, filter it, then it is for free. Nobody owns the rivers, so you can get that water for free. But you're paying for the service of opening a tap and clean, fresh water is coming out of your tap. Now, that might not be in your area specifically, but in many parts of the world, people do experience clean, relatively water filtered in a tap right in the middle of their home, in the kitchen, in the bathroom. So people don't always get this, and that's the law of energy exchange. So you need to exchange equal and opposite amounts of energy. Now, you might think that this one thing is worth less than what the company is charging for, and you might be right. But if there is somebody else standing in line willing to exchange that exact same amount of money for that product, then that company charging a premium price for that product might not be far off with the amount of energy they've put into delivering that product or that service. If nobody was standing in line to buy that product or service, then they need to revise and relook, because they might be charging a lot more than what it is actually worth. So in other words, the universe always delivers to you an exact ratio, in fact, more than what you offer. So if you want to attract that car, you had to put in the energy, do a certain job, fulfill a certain role, in order to exchange that service, that effort, for money, which now can be transferred to somebody else for another product. So money is just a transacting language that people use. And basically it can just be, we can all just do away with money for practical purposes and start exchanging items. So you won't exchange something trivial like a pair of shoes. You won't exchange your car for a pair of shoes, would you? And the reason is because the car is worth more. There's a lot more technical skills, time and effort, and also material products that had to be sourced in order to build that car than comparatively to the shoes. So you'll exchange your car for about 1,000 pairs of shoes, but not for one pair of shoes. So money just makes it easy for us to be able to convert that energy into an exchangeable language that we can now speak to one another about or with. So the law of attraction, if you want to attract the relationship, let's talk about something less tangible like a relationship, right? So if you want to attract a relationship into your life, a person, that person's going to obviously provide you with something. They're going to provide you with the company, their presence, the caring, the love, the support, all of those things. But in exchange for that, you cannot be this self-righteous person that believes that you don't need to bring anything to the table or to that relationship and just expect those people or that person to serve you and provide for you. So you need to exchange an equal amount of care and love and support. Now, it doesn't always come in the exact same form. I know a lot of relationships that are based on the foundation of money and also then sexual. It's more sexual, the relationship. Or it might be support and love and care and all of those things, but from the other end, it's money. But you have to exchange something. So that person providing the love and support and care, they might not require that back from you, but they might require money from you. And being able to not work, but still have all of their physical needs met, a house, a car, medical aid, all of those things. So it doesn't always come in the exact same form, but you are going to have to exchange something. So I think that a lot of people that are struggling to manifest something in their lives through the law of attraction are not aware that the law of attraction is actually the law of giving. They should have termed it differently, perhaps, and not call it the law of attraction, but rather the law of giving, or the law of providing, or the law of energy exchange. Because people are so fixated on what can I get, where can I get it, how can I get it, how is it going to land up on my lap, and they just want to visualize and just think happy thoughts, and then hopefully that happens, not realizing that they should be asking the question, how can I exchange? What can I give to other people? What can I provide? How can I solve problems? Now, there's this famous saying that what you get paid is equal to I think it was the type of problems you solve, the difficulty of the problem that you solve, your ability to, or the ability to replace you. I think it was something like your ability to solve that problem, the difficulty of that problem, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. And I can't remember who said it, but I've heard it many times from Bob Proctor. And what that means is that if you want more money, you need to start solving more complex problems, or less complex problems, but for more people. That's why people that are generally famous makes a fair amount of money, because they're not serving just 10 people, they're serving thousands and sometimes millions, in many cases millions of people. And that problem can be something like, I need entertainment, and therefore a comedian or an artist, a music artist provides me with that service. So they're solving a problem for me, and they're solving that same problem for millions of other people around the world. And that's why they are entitled to charge that amount and to make that amount of money. People will also always talk about the CEO of a big corporate company making a ton of money, and the people at the bottom not. And they want to have equal distribution of funds, not realizing that the CEO of that company is providing jobs for maybe a good couple of thousand of people, producing a service or a product that's serving millions of people, forming that structure, putting everything in place, taking the risk, all of those things. And that is the energy that person brings. That's the amount of problems that person is solving. And therefore, he or she gets compensated for that in a lucrative way. With the person at the bottom driving the truck, what problem is that person solving? Because if it weren't for the company, the owner or the CEO, that truck would not exist. The product being delivered would not exist. That job would not exist. So that person is just solving one problem for the company, so that he or she is technically just solving a very uncomplex or simple problem for that company, because it doesn't take a lot of skill as much as a neurosurgeon to be able to drive that truck. Therefore, the compensation for that is a lot less. So if that person wants to, if you find yourself in such a position where you want to attract more money, you need to solve more problems. And law of attraction is not by just giving you the money. Law of attraction is showing you opportunities for you to grow so that you can then generate it for yourself. And people don't like that, because they want to remain stationary almost. They want to remain consistent to their current lifestyle, but just want everything to fall into their laps. They're not willing to go through the struggles the efforts and everything that will accompany change, like major change. They don't want to now level up their own skills in order to exchange that for a larger compensation or more income. And the same with relationships. People want to hold on to their brokenness almost, that they've experienced as a child, neglect, hate, anger, all of those things. They want to hold on to that. They don't want to change. They feel that the world owes me this, so I'm not going to change, but I want that person to show me my worth. I want that person to serve me, to love me, to be kind to me, to do all of those things, but I'm not going to change. I'm not going to be a better version of myself. And therefore, they will go in and out of relationships and not be able to hold on to a high quality person almost. And when I say high quality, I'm not saying that one person is better than the other, but I'm saying that one person might be more broken than the other. And it's your willingness to fix yourself and fill your own cup that then you'll be able to provide more for another person, and then that person will be willing to give you more. And that is basically the law, where that happens automatically. If you attract somebody that's got a lot more to offer than you do, they're not going to stick around. It's just by law, unless they've got brain damage or something, I don't know. But first, in the first place, you won't attract that person, or you might attract that person, but they're not going to last, and they're not going to hold on to you, or you won't be able to hold on to them. And I think the biggest problem for people not being able to manifest anything in their lives is, or one of the biggest problems is, that sense of entitlement. And I think that's a characteristic that many people need to get rid of. And the only way you can get rid of that is by working on yourself, looking inwards, turning inwards, and asking yourself, why do I feel entitled to get this without me actually bettering myself, providing more, solving more complex problems for this person? And problem solving, again, it's not in the sense where you need to now solve a physical problem. It's just maybe being a better version of yourself. Then you're solving somebody else's problem that needs that from you. But you need to become a better version. So I think a lot of people that's struggling with the law of attraction is just ignorant to the fact that they need to exchange something, and that the world does not owe them anything, because every single person on the face of the planet was born with enough to give. Nobody owes you anything. The stuff that you receive is a mere exchange, and it's a gift from whatever you want to call it, God or the universe or the higher self. It's a gift to you. But in order to receive gifts, you need to provide something. You need to exchange the energy that you were born with, which is enough, and you need to exchange that. You need to provide that to the world. Now, I've said this many times in quite a few videos or podcasts, and that's the thing I think people struggle with, is they don't understand that they were born with enough. Even if you were born in poverty, even if you were born in an abusive home, or you were given up for adoption, or whatever terrible thing might have happened to you, you still were born with enough. So you need to realize that, recognize what you have to give. That terrible thing that happened to you, that's even more of a gift to you, because now you've learned some things, you've learned some skills, you've learned some adaptive skills that you have more than the next person, that you can offer somebody else, because somebody else might have grown up in similar situation and they're struggling, and you have that experience to offer them. So do that. So you've got enough despite whatever bad thing has happened to you in the past. So that's what I want to leave you with today, is instead of focusing on how does the law of attraction work, how do I actually attract that one thing, how can I visualize and just sit back and let it come to me, because you know what, I deserve it, I'm good enough, or whatever. You need to ask yourself, what can I exchange? Like, look at the world, look at the people around you, and recognize what you have to offer. And if you don't know, then turn inwards and delve deeper into your own personality, in your own structure, in your own abilities and skills and natural talents, and ask yourself, what is there that I can offer? What do I feel comfortable and confident enough to offer the outside world? And do that without expectation first, because you're not good enough yet. Even though you might be passionate about something, or you might have gone through a certain experience and now have that experience to give other people, you're not good enough yet. Not enough people know about you yet. So you need to first go through the struggles, get rejected, learn the skills, how to articulate yourself, how to improve the service that you're offering, and not overcharge from the beginning because you feel now that you're giving something and it's your birthright to just receive. Because people need to build trust, and that's also part of the law of attraction, which I'll discuss in a later video, is that people don't buy the product, they buy the reputation that you offer. They don't buy into the relationship just because of your money or whatever you can provide, or you say you can provide. They buy into the relationship because of the reputation that you can show them. This is what I can do, whether it's money or love or whatever. But you have to build up that reputation, and people need to know about it. So you have to allow yourself the time to grow into the better version, that profile that can offer a lot more, and that actually does offer currently a lot more to the outside world, to people. And then naturally people will be drawn to you. I know a lot of people that started podcasts and YouTube videos, and they've got zero education, and they've built such a reputation, such a following, not by lying to people or promising like empty stuff or empty services to them, but by really delivering true value to the outside world, to their followers or following. And in exchange, they say, like, people just want to meet up with them because what they say is, they're so knowledgeable, what they say is so profound and so impactful that people just want their personal one-on-one time. And they charge like stupendous amounts for an hour with them, but it's granted, it's justified because they've built up that reputation, they've given enough, and now people value, because they know that what this person is saying, they actually know what they're saying, and they're not just trying to sell a course or do whatever just to get the money, and not really providing anything, and just providing some empty course or empty content or whatever. So I've seen that many times. So yes, the law of attraction is the law of giving, or the law of exchange of energy. Think about it in that way, and turn inwards, look at yourself, and see what you can offer. And if you don't have anything to offer now, decide where you want to upskill, where you want to give yourself training and experience. And if you study for a degree, it's going to be tough. You're going to fail sometimes. You're going to make it at the end of the day. It's going to cost you money, etc. But even if that's just on a tangible level, even if you do something different, like starting a podcast, nobody's going to know about you. You know, you can't expect, because you know a lot of content, you're going to put it out there and then start charging people a lot of money. You need to build up that reputation. You need to show people that what you're saying and how you are saying it is of really high value. And then you can start exchanging or asking for the return, which can be in admiration, it can be in the form of money, it can be whatever you want. A lot of people might not do it for money, they might do it for admiration. I know a lot of TikTok creators, it's not really for the money, it's all for the following and that admiration from the outside world. And that's why they put in a hell of a lot of effort into building their persona on social media. So if that's what they require in exchange for the energy that they've put in or exerted, then that's fine. Whatever is good for you. So that's what I want to leave you with. Think about it. And then if you've been watching up until now, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video or podcast. All the best.